Hello, this is Father David, here with day 15 of Great Lent 2024, the third Monday of Great Lent. The reading from Isaiah for today is from chapter 8, verse 13, through chapter 9, verse 7. And again, this will be a well-known, for those who are acquainted with Orthodox liturgical services, and so we'll talk about where it is that we hear this in the liturgical year. We actually just fairly recently, with the beginning of Great Lent, heard some of this, or should have, beginning in chapter 8, again verse 13. Sanctify the Lord himself, and he shall be your fear. So if you trust in him, he shall be as a sanctuary for you. And you shall not come against him as a stumbling stone, nor as a rock of disaster. But the house of Jacob lies in wait with a snare, and those in Jerusalem with a trap. Therefore many among them shall be powerless and fall and be broken. And men who are in safety shall draw near and be conquered. Then they who seal the law so as not to learn it themselves shall be evident. Now, in the Orthodox Study Bible, it has a note in the next several verses, speaking as this about these verses as being interpreted in a Christian manner. This says that the law given to Moses will be closed with the teaching of the apostles, in other words, brought to its fulfillment. But one will say, I shall wait for God, who turned his face away from the house of Jacob, and I will trust in him. That's verse 17. I will wait for God, who turned his face away from the house of Jacob. I will trust in him. And then verse 18, behold, I and the children God gave me. This will be for signs and wonders in the house of Israel from the Lord of hosts, who dwells in Mount Zion. And the note says that the children here are interpreted as Christ's apostles and disciples who performed many signs and wonders. It's because it mentions signs and wonders. Now, this phrase, behold, I and the children God gave me, I shall wait for God who turned away, and I will trust in him. Behold, I and the children God gave me. This is a verse from God is with us, which we sing in the service of Great Compline. We sing Great Compline before Nativity, we sing it before Theophany, and we just finished singing it in most churches in the first week of Great Lent, just 2 weeks ago, in the Canon of St. Andrew of Crete, within the context of Great Compline. And so these verses are sung again with the refrain from Isaiah of God is with us. So, this is truly for Jewish people, for Hebrews, this is a radical reimagining of the meaning of this, taking us not only away from the Assyrian conflict, which is the immediate context, but to see in it the signs and wonders of the children, the little children. St. John calls the disciples of Christ little children, oftentimes. We continue then in verse 19. So if they should say to you, seek those who call from the earth and are ventriloquists who speak from the belly, should not a nation seek their God? Why do they seek the dead on behalf of the living? Of course, we hear this, why do you seek the living among the dead? The words of the angel to the women disciples, which we sing on Pascha. Of course, speaking those who are ventriloquists, who throw their voices and make it seem like dead things are speaking with the voice of the living. He gave the law to help them so as not to speak a word such as this, concerning which word there are no gifts to offer with it. The Orthodox Study Bible says, God gave men and women a natural law within them, the ability to choose the good and avoid the evil, but they chose selfishness. Then God gave them the law of Moses, and it too was broken. And great darkness falls upon the soul that is without the light of the commandments. Compare the prophet's question, why do they seek the dead on behalf of the living? To the angel's triumphant statement to the myrrh-bearing women, again, why do you seek the living among the dead? This is to show that there is a movement from the law as a pedagogue to the new covenant, and those little ones, those children who perform signs and wonders in the name of the Messiah. Thus a harsh famine, verse 21, will come upon you, and it shall be when you are hungry, you will be grieved and speak badly of your ruler and the idols. Then they will look up to heaven above and on the earth below, and behold, tribulation, distress, and darkness. There will be severe despair and darkness, so dark one cannot see. And the one who is in despair shall be perplexed, but only for a time. Do this first, and do it quickly, O country of Zebulun, land of Naphtali, by the way of the sea, and the rest dwelling upon the sea coast and parts of Judea, and the land beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles, a people who walk in darkness, behold a great light. And to you who dwell in the country of the shadow of death, upon you a light will shine. So these are the verses we hear in accordance with theophany. And it says, the multitude of the people whom you brought down in your joy, they shall also rejoice in your presence as those who rejoice in the harvest, as men rejoice when they divide the spoils, for the yoke lying upon them and the rod upon their neck is taken away. For the Lord broke the rod of the exactors as in the day of Midian. The note says that this refers to the defeat of the Midianites by Gideon and the men without use of weapons. It says these men prefigure the apostles who spread the gospel throughout the world with only the weapons of peace, the preaching of the cross. And then verse 4, for every robe and garment gathered by deceit they shall repay with money, and they shall be willing to do this, even though they were burned with fire. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. His name will be called the Angel of Great Counsel, for I shall bring my peace upon the rulers, peace and health by him. Great shall be his government, and of his peace there shall be no end. His peace shall be upon the throne of David, and over his kingdom in order and establish it with righteousness and judgment. From that time forward and unto ages of ages, the zeal of the Lord of hosts shall perform this. The Lord sent, the zeal of the Lord of hosts shall perform this. Again, this is read on the eve of the feast of the Nativity of the Lord. About unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. Of course, anyone who's ever heard Handel's Messiah knows that beautiful song put to music, that verse from Isaiah. But to say that this is a time when Isaiah is speaking of, not only are you disobeying the law which was given to you, the Torah to the Jews, which is holy, just, and good according to St. Paul. But you have turned from that to idols and are awaiting the light that will dawn to the Gentiles, that will take away any idea of idolatry from the world, that God could be found in man-made statues or idols or things of that nature. He himself will provide his image, the image of the invisible God, given to us in the form of a little child. Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. This promised Emmanuel once again being prophesied. And so this is, for us, for the first Christians, just plain as day, hearing this, a prophecy of the small child who would be born, who would be revealed to the Gentiles, and who would shatter the illusions of idolatry. So once again, let us remember the great revelation that God gave to us, not simply with a philosophy or a philosophical text, but with the person of Jesus Christ, whom we know, whom we love, whom we communicate with, and who himself, in his person, is our peace and our salvation. So let us continue to quiet ourselves in his presence, to be before him, to commune with him, and to find our peace, joy, and fulfillment in him. So Lord God bless you. Lord willing, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.